bridge that you see directly in front of you, that's a bridge of no return. The last Americans to cross that bridge was in 1968. It's Commander Bucher and the USS Pueblo. They were held captive in North Korea for 11 and a half months. You guys are probably the smartest group I've ever had. I had a group from Harvard. They had just graduated, all right, and they were the dumbest people. I was like, all right, it's never been used for its original purpose because the North Korean government will not allow their citizens to cross the MDL because they're afraid they're going to defect. So this building has never been used, just used for tours. Now we're going to move out on the conference row now, all right? We will be under close observation by the North Korean guards, all right? Please do not point at them. You can take as many pictures as you want, but just do not point it or wave at them. Also, do not stop and take photos while we're moving. I'll give you guys plenty of opportunities to take photos once they get us talking. All right, follow me, please.
Oh, this is the thing we see on TV.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Conference Row. This is the official meeting place between the United Nations Command and North Koreans. All the blue buildings you see belong to the United Nations Command, and all the silver or gray buildings belong to the North Koreans. If you look directly to your right, you'll notice the tall blue building. That's the Joint Duty Officer, or JDO building. He's the official representative for all talks between North and South Korea. Directly across from that building on top of the hill, you'll notice the guard post. That's KPA post number 2. And they are watching us at this time. So once again, please do not point at them. At the base of the hill, you'll notice the white stakes that I told you about in the slideshow. That marks the official boundary inside of the JSA. So just on the other side of those stakes is North Korea. Also, if you look between the buildings, you'll notice the 17 by 5 inch slab of concrete. The first gray building here is the North Korean Recreation Center. I'm not sure why they named it this because it has no recreation equipment whatsoever. All right, all they use this building for is to place 10 to 20 armed guards whenever we have any type of officer level talks out here. All right, whenever they're in this building, they like to pull back the curtains, point, wave, make derogatory gestures such as the throat slashing gesture and the middle finger. Once again, do not respond if you see any of this. T3 is used by the JDO for colonel level and staff officer level talks. T2 is the MAC building, or Military Armistice Commission building. We'll visit that building here in a second. T1 is used by the NNSC for their weekly meetings. And the far building on the end was once used by Czechoslovakia and Poland. Does anybody know why it's not used anymore? Czechoslovakia doesn't exist and Poland is no longer communist, so North Korea kicked them out. Look directly in front of you. You notice the 3-story building. That's the North Korean Visitor Welcoming Center, or the Panmunjom. It also serves as a 2-man guard post. Notice one of the guards standing at the top of the stairs. He's usually got a pair of binoculars and stares at us, but he'll probably pull them out. If you look to your left, you'll notice a smaller window. The other guard is sitting in there. He is watching us. You notice the 3rd story of the building isn't quite like the rest. It's slightly canted at top to make the building seem taller than it actually is. That's because whenever we rebuilt the Freedom House in '98, which is the building behind you, our building stood taller than their building. So they added a 3rd story to make theirs taller than ours. So I don't know why they just did. All right, you guys may move around and take photos. There's a couple boundaries. Don't come off the top step. Don't cross the guards on either side. Don't go back in the building. So you can move around. You just got to stay in this little area. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Get point, man.
I'm pointing at you.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. It's like Walmart.
Yeah.
Right,
Super
the soldiers
Walmart.
you see out here in the green dress uniform, those are South Korean soldiers. All right, don't get it confused. I had a guy on tour one time. He was scared to even walk out. He was like, "No, man, don't worry." He's like, "Why?" because they're our friends. All right, but they stand out. They're only out here whenever we're out here. So once we go back in, they'll actually go back in because there's no point in having them stand out here all day because the North Korean guy, he has to stand out here all day. So
Oh, he got his binoculars out.
meetings are translated into two languages, English and Korean. It used to be done simultaneously by translator booths on either end of the building. However, now they sit at the heads of the table. The microphones you see in the center of the table are monitored 24 hours a day, and they also represent the military demarcation line. Also, if you look out the window, you'll be able to see the 17 by 5 inch slab of concrete. So those of you to my left, you already know. Those of you to my right is still good in South Korea. If you look on the southern end of the building, you notice a plaque. All right, those are the nations that are in the neutral nations. There used to be a shelf there with miniature silk flags. All right, in 2001, when President Bush met with former President of the Republic of Korea, Kim Dae-jung, in Washington, D.C., after their meeting, at approximately the same time they were shaking hands, two North Korean guards entered through the northern end of the building, took down the U.S. flag, and began to polish their boots with it. They then took down the South Korean flag and began to blow their nose with it. So we took down the shelf along with the flags and replaced it with a plaque to present a harder target to the North Koreans. The soldiers you see here are for your protection. They stand in the modified position of Taekwondo or Rock Ready and wear the sunglasses for an intimidating stance towards the North Koreans. All right, you may take photos with them. Just please do not touch them because they will touch you back. I've seen it. You can stand next to them. All right, just once again, please not touch them. Also, do not cross in front of or behind this soldier, and do not cross behind that soldier. He is guarding the door to North Korea, and once again, he will stop you. If you want to cross into North Korea, you may do so, but only at that end of the table to pay respects to the United Nations flags. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Yes, free to go.
I want to go to North Korea.
7 minutes, they is your officially
How long? So do I get
7 minutes.
7 minutes, you're officially in North Korea? You're a citizen?
7 minutes.
Let's take a group picture.
Be with him?
Yeah.
You guys can take photos, but that's what we're going to
One out of every 5.
They just had no common sense whatsoever. None. Now I'm sure they were smart. But they had no common sense. None. Then I gave a tour for some students from Saudi Arabia, a middle school group, and they were actually smarter than they were. They had common sense at least. So.
然后可以看到铁丝网啊，铁丝网上边挂的白色这个东西呀，你是一个普普通通的石头而已啊。你这个挂的白颜色的石头，这是普通的石头，挂在上面，为什么挂在上面呢？有人过来的话，它会掉下来，掉下来的话，这些巡逻兵都有他们的士兵啊。他们每天都要巡逻，看到掉下来的石头，他就拿人过来了。我们现在看到的对面呢，身上有没有错？有，是男孩。这边往里走16公里啊，就有板面了，在我的右边。等一下，我们从那边过去，通过那边的统一桥，这就是现在公司老总出现的，叫统一桥。从那个路一直往前走呢，直接到
North Korea they give about one tour a day, about 10,000 tourists a year. We give about 180,000 tourists a year. So, all right, we're at checkpoint 3 now. All right, we're gonna get off the bus. Just fill into the front of this blue checkpoint here, and I'll begin talking. Also, do not stand up to take photos. If you got to, pass your camera to a buddy.
Yeah, it is
We are. We're building on it. There's nice pictures, right?
Yes. Yeah, we'll actually drive down there. All right, if you guys can come in here, I'm gonna talk real quick, and then you guys will be able to wander around and take photos. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Checkpoint 3. As I told you in the slideshow, you're now surrounded on 3 sides by communist North Korea. Point this out at this time. It's North Korea, North Korea, and North Korea. If you look over here to the right, you'll notice the black, well, it's supposed to be black and yellow. It's rust color and yellow now. North Koreans won't let us paint them. But those are that denotes the border inside of the DMZ. All right, they run all the way through the DMZ. Also, the white stakes. That marks the boundary inside of the JSA. They can go all the way out to where the trees get larger, make a 90-degree turn, bisect the Sachon River, and follow out all the way to the Han estuaries in the west. If you look over here to the right, behind this little tower thing, on the mountain, you'll notice kind of a backwards J-shaped dirt road that runs up the side of the mountain. You guys see that? All right, that's the northern boundary to the DMZ. So from there to here is 2 kilometers, and from here to that blue sign is 2 kilometers. Follow it out, you'll see a KPA guard post. That's KPA post number 5. Continue out, see the blue roofed building out there? That was the former Czech and Polish NNSC camp. Alright, since they no longer are there, the North Koreans use it for their version of their quick reaction force. Alright, we call it the slow reaction force because they have no vehicles. So if something were to happen, they'd have to run from there to here. You look straight out, you'll notice a pine grove and a white A-frame shaped building. That's the North Korean Peace Museum. Once again, I don't know why they call it this, because it has all the axes that were used in the axe murder incident in there. That's also where the armistice was signed. Continue over, this blue checkpoint, that's United Nations Command Checkpoint 4, and in the between is the Bridge No Return and KPA post number 7. Alright, if you count 4 pine trees back, you'll notice a monument, or you guys might be able to see.
Yeah.
A monument. Alright, that's where the tree actually stood. I'll actually drive down there here in a second. You guys will be able to take photos of it. Over here, that's the village of Gijongdong, or Propagated Village. Excuse me. Flag's flying pretty good today. Alright, that flag has a dry weight of over 600 pounds. It takes a large gust of wind to get it moving. Alright, all those buildings you see there are fake. Alright, they have no backs, no windows, no floors. Alright, so it's just like a Hollywood set. Alright, it takes 40 or 50 people to raise and lower that flag. Are you guys going to OP Door today? Tunnel 3 and OP Door.
just a freaking tree, man. You tell it to be so mad.
We're good.
Call an Allstate agent and get a quote now.
Now everyone who uses catheters can get a better catheter with Liberator Medical's free catheter sample pack. There's
Ito,
Babalik po kami sa unang hirit sa Araneta Santa Paz.
Interested?
kira yan!
Oo.
Biyahe kada araw, ha?
Oo.
Semana Santa. At para matiyang kalitasan.
Ganda
right, let's go, man.
You see somebody?
Going through that White House Take him for $60 a month.
Yeah, they should give me 4 walks about
You gotta see
These pictures. This is why everybody in North Korea, they respect their leader. Okay. And this side, the classroom. Before Korean War, I usually had the same type of classroom, when I was young, primary school. This is North Korean, school classroom. Okay, they are teaching number 1, history of Kim Il Sung. Number 2, Kim Jong Il, Korean leader. Number 3, Kim Il Sung I, which was Kim Jong Il mother. Number 4, communist. Number 5, mathematics, language, science, environment, music, like that. So South Korea and United States, we don't teach in history of president, right? So this is totally different than what they teach. This is why everybody they learn, their leader history. So this is why they respect, their leaders. Okay, this is unification syndrome. This is.
You running back?
George.
If you look directly to your left, the tall gray building, that's the South Korean Peace House. It was built in 1985 to house talks between North and South Korea that were not armistice related. All right, we're going to unload the bus now and visit the Freedom House and Mac buildings. There's a few rules. No bags or baggage is allowed off the bus to include purses, camera bags, or anything of this nature. All right, so just yourself and your cameras, no umbrellas, nothing, please.